Hello, so this video is just going to give you a little bit of a roundup of the Open Creative Alliance, just to give you a bit of an idea of how all the sort of different parts work together, and what it's here for, and how you can kind of get involved in whatever part you want to be involved with. So, who is it? So it's effectively a alliance of creatives, leaders, technologists, anyone who is out there and looking for something to get involved in to put their talents forward in a way that can effectively respond to the pandemic crisis and all the other crisis that comes out of it. And effectively, just to give you a bit of a roundup on this is the kind of visual representation that I've been using for a while now. This hasn't just been for this, but it's just a way of showing that kind of pathway from effectively these three areas here, which is the knowledge. So that's around like understanding. It's around looking at the wider kind of context of what is going on and what is the information out there, and distilling it in a way, creating this process where we can really sort of understand it together and debate it together, and really kind of find a kind of common wisdom in what is going on. And then through that, then we can move into turning this into an action, turning this into formulating teams, formulating groups, formulating the frameworks to kind of move forward and work together on it. So that's around looking at who can do what kind of skills they can bring to it, how they work together, what kind of other perfect teams to come out of this. And then there's the concept and vision. So vision is effectively the kind of end goal. That's like the ideal state. That's where we want to get to. We're at this time when we're in this kind of transition point and we have all these problems that need to be solved. This effectively is our kind of imagination, if you like. It's whatever we can find as the optimum future that we would want. That kind of ideal state, that is shown in as a concept. The concept part is the visualization of that ideal state. So that can be through images, culture, art, film, anything like that. It's around kind of really painting the picture, telling the story of how that ideal future could look, or what it could look like if the problems were solved. And then at the bottom there's the network. This talks about like how we can actually be always looking to be open, always looking to collaborate with other organizations, especially in this time when we are all united in a common goal. We want to be instilling that kind of new way of working that sort of breaks down those boundaries, breaks down the boundaries of ego, and this is a border of this organization and that organization, and try and break those down a little bit so everything can kind of flow between, and you can create more of a kind of ecosystem that is all working together around a common purpose. So all of those kind of combine together to sort of direct us and give us the kind of potential to move forward with something. So say for instance you have an idea for some solution that is tech-based. Rather than create the whole thing, you would show a concept of what it would look like if it was real, using animation or mock-ups or anything like that, and through a kind of a way of iterating it through this community and through this collaborative network that we intend to form, you can be testing whether people would be interested enough to put their efforts into it, and we can all be kind of supporting that as a project, if you like. We can all be kind of involved and participating in it. So effectively, how I've split this up is we basically have four kind of main areas, other than this one. So if you go down the bottom, you can go through the type form. This will give you allow me and anyone else who wants to help with this to redirect whoever fills in the type form to the ideal solution, the ideal project that there is, or even just keep them open for something that might come up in the future, because this is really around redirecting you to something that is aligned with your purpose, that is utilizing all of your skills. So effectively you can be getting into a team of people that you resonate with, who know how to work with you and can direct you towards. They can be a team effectively that you can take forward from this. It's also around those kind of connections that we can make at this time, and that kind of community that we can form. These are all the projects that we have going on at the moment. The tracker one, I think that one is I think they believe they've pivoted to something else, but I don't know if they're working on that as fully, considering how much all of the other trackers are out there. Because I think that's also an important thing, is that we don't want to be putting in effort into something that isn't necessary or is going to be a duplication of something else. The idea is through our kind of understand what project is most needed for effort and which one should be taken forward. So there should be a bit more. I'm working on a bit of a process to integrate all of that and make it so that we are going for only the projects that are most kind of collaborative, most open to working with other organizations, most likely to have a chance of success, so that we are not just adding to the noise. So in terms of the page, so there's a Facebook group which is very much for announcements, call outs, things like that. We'll kind of package up some of the stuff that's going on, say the roles or ideas or whatever, and sometimes do some kind of updating the Facebook group. Slack group is really where any of the kind of discussion and decision making and getting into teams is going to happen. And then there's the resources. So the resources, this is the resource database here. So we can be molding this as it goes along to try and sort of make it to make it something that is completely kind of understandable by everyone. But effectively, you can be adding in links to other initiatives that are going on. So say for instance here we've got some project pools. These are the kind of responses to the pandemic that are out there. You can also learn about, say, some of the other trackers that we've got out here. So these are all the other trackers that are going on, and there's also, if you want to learn about the virus characteristics, there's a couple of interesting kind of stuff around that. But effectively, if you want to add to this, then you could just drop me your email in this, and then if you go through the type form, it has a question on whether you want to integrate into some of these as well and sort of add to this open source resource. This one's a better example of how to do an open source document, but I'm not all that good with Google Docs, and saying that does look like quite a tricky process. The whole resource thing is an interesting one, actually, because we do have very timeline focused ways of sharing information, but I digress. So there's basically, here is the projects and roles. So these are any of the projects that we're going to be working on are going to be up here, and then these are all of the roles involved in that. So you can come here and then look at what sort of thing you want to go and check out. So you can change it to fields. This effectively allows you to kind of look at it based in design, tech. So I would recommend probably looking at it in that view, so you can see something that kind of relates to you. Actually, you know what? I'll make that custom one. So, and then there's the idea bank. So you can get to all of these from every page as well. The idea here is that you can either go through a type form to add in your own idea, or you can just add it directly onto the Google spreadsheet. So here you just go you just need to fill in the ones that are colored. You just, write like a link, just paste the link of where people can find you, give a bit of an idea of the problem, give an idea of the solution. That is all you really need. You can fill in some of the other stuff as well if you want, but that's more for kind of, if you've already got a project that's going and you need some help. And if you've got access to the to edit this, you can basically just add in a toggle and then put in whatever I give a title for your idea or something like that, or just give a kind of a wider toggle, and then within that you can sort of subcategorize it, and then this is where you can just basically jot it down. It doesn't have to be thought out. It can just be like, oh, I'll just write a note here. But really, this is where all of the ideas are effectively going to end up. So it might be better if you just put it straight into here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be syncing up this with this. So I will just copy in the problem and solution into here. So that will go into the kind of description, if you like. Yeah, and then of course, like, you can also have ideas within some of the projects, so just in case something doesn't get used in one, we can then be it doesn't get lost, we can then be transferring it to a different project, and those will be tagged in here so you can see the different projects. And then there is the members list. This is a list of all the people that are currently sort of signed up if you want to the Slack group. There's more in the Facebook group, but not everyone has gone through the type form because I was setting up kind of as it was growing. So this is all the people. If you want to look for someone specific, some of the fields have been hidden just because they're not really that relevant. But yeah, if you're looking for anyone to work with specifically, this might be a good place to go and check that out. And then yeah, if you want to get onto that, if you want to get into here and showcase yourself and your skills and things like that, just click on this type form. They're scattered around as well. You can also do it at the bottom here, where you might suddenly think, oh, I want to add something to this. You can just click that, and then it will take you through the project form. So if you go through this, you will eventually get put onto that spreadsheet that I mentioned before. I should list it up here as well. This one. Yeah. So that's it. Yeah, this is all completely open as well, so you can put it directly into the spreadsheet if you want. That's totally able to do. Alright, so hopefully that gives you a bit of a roundup of the Open Creative Alliance and where you can fit in. If you have any feedback on this, or if you want to get more involved in the actual running of this, so we can actually be getting in more projects and we can start sort of putting this out to some of the members that are involved, then please do let me know, and then we can get on Slack and have a chat or something.